Last few years I've been traveling around calling dangerous game. It's just something I like to do. And one of the dangerous games that I've been calling is bears. And I've gone to Alaska 3 times. I went and called a record book grizzly bear. I went back and called a brown bear a couple of years ago. I needed to get a black bear. I'd actually called a black bear before and I'd killed quite a few of them, but I never actually called a good one on footage, so I wanted to go do that. I was actually booked to go do this a year earlier, but it didn't work out that I could go, so Mike Morgan went in my place and he took our friend from Missouri, Jim Keltner. They went up and killed a couple of really nice bears.
Whacked him. He whacked him. 2:30. He's coming in.
I think he can shoot him already.
Jim had such a great time and had such a great hunting with Mike the year before, he wanted to come back. He wanted to bring his son, Jacob, as a graduation present from college, and they wanted to try it with a boat. So we fly into Ketchikan, Alaska. Actually, the airport's on one island. You got to get on a ferry and cross over, and the town's on the other island. We spend the night there. Jason and them is going to come in and pick us up the next morning. We're going to go to camp.
This year we have MOJO Outdoors coming. I'm pretty excited. Last year Terry was supposed to make it. Some last minute things happened and he was switched out with Mike Morgan, so Mike Morgan and Jim Keltner came, but we had a phenomenal year last year, hoping we can produce the same thing this year. Excited to have Terry, the man behind the calls and the decoys, to come up and see if we can call these bears in.
We go down to kind of their headquarters. It's their partner's float plane operation. He's got 2 ways he can take you into his camp. Now there's no road access into his camp. He can either boat you in there if the weather's suitable, or he can fly you in there.
Well, we're finally going bear hunting. I'm excited about that. We're going to jump in this, I think it's a beaver down here, the Havilland Beaver, very, very safe airplane. They're the workhorse of the north, you know. We're going to go over to Prince of Wales Island where they got an A-frame cabin over there. We wanted to boat over. If we could boat over, we could hunt today, but once you fly, you can't hunt, so it's going to kill our chance to hunt. But they tore up the prop on their boat, and they're having to repair that, and it's going to be too late anyway, so we're going to jump in this airplane, fly over to the cabin, do a little scouting around in the morning. Bears are in trouble.
Fly over, about a 20-minute flight over to Jason's camp, you know, land there, unload on the dock. Can't hunt the day we fly, so we're just going to get settled in, look around, you know, get acquainted with the area, get ready to hunt the next day.
Alaska is one of the greatest places in the whole globe to hunt, but if you're going to come up here and hunt, you're going to be prepared for everything don't go exactly according to plan. It's just part of living in Alaska, you know. But hey, we got a little blue sky up there today. That don't happen all that often in this part of Alaska. Usually if the sun is shining, the bears like to come out and play, so we think it might be a good day.
So we jump in the boat, take off to go hunting. We're just going to cruise up and down the shoreline As the tide goes down, it exposes these huge grass flats, these tidal grass flats, and that's where these bears are coming down out of the mountains, coming out of hibernation, coming down to the shore, and they're eating this tidal grass and they're just getting their stomach going. They're not on meat yet. It makes it kind of hard to call, but I wish I hadn't said anything about them blue skies because I hadn't been in that boat about 10 minutes till it started raining. But that's Southeast Alaska. If you go there, you're gonna have that.
This segment was brought to you by Stoger. Works as hard as you do.
We come to this place where Jason really likes to hunt. In fact, it's a place where Melissa Bachman called and killed a huge bear.
I'm so out of breath from blowing that predator call. Oh my gosh, he wasn't gonna turn. I can't even breathe right now, and I'm not sure if it's from shaking. I'm telling you, that comes down to you better make the shot or he's coming after you. I felt I had a little security with this log, but that's not enough.
Well, by the time we got there, it quit raining. So we get out and we hike up in there, we get ready to call, but by the time we get ready to call, you know, it starts raining again, the wind changes around, it kind of messes it up, but we went ahead and called 15 or 20 minutes. Anyway, we were there, we might as well, nothing happened. Started hiking out, and something did happen.
We started out, and way over here, Nate noticed an old bridge over there, timber bridge, and we stopped and looked at it for a moment. And there's an old hogging bridge, and that's when Jason saw a bear. He said, "There's a bear, it's a big bear." We couldn't see it till we got all the way up here because it's around the corner from us. So it had his butt towards us. Fortunately, we had the wind right, so we came over here out of sight and set up and put the collar between us and him. And we turned it on, and I put a white-tailed fawn sound on it. And he looked at it and turned around and took a couple of steps this way, but he didn't want to come any further. They're not on meat yet. They're on they're eating this grass, this green grass, getting their stomach going from coming out of hibernation. So it makes it really tough to call them. They just got to be a knee jerk to them because they're not really after meat yet.
He showed a little interest in it, but he just wasn't interested and he went on. But anyway, we go on hunting. All we doing is cruising these shorelines, and we go into places that Jason knows that bears just frequent year after year after year. Doesn't mean you won't find one somewhere else, but he knows where to go that are hot spots for bears. So we cruise around. We see several bears, but we get to one place that he really likes. We're gonna get out and cold call with it again. We get out, we hike in there, we get all set up. Here comes the monsoon rain, just drenches us. We called in the rain, but we didn't call anything. But there was a bunch of sandhill cranes there, so that was pretty cool. Well, after that last day, and it's kind of midday, we've been drenched. We decided to run back to Jason's camp and dry out, dry the collar out, get the gun cleaned up a little bit, get kind of reorganized and fixed up, and we'll go back out this afternoon, do it again.
Closed captioning provided by Fatal Shot Chokes. One choke, all loads.
So we get all dried out, get a little something to eat, jump back in the boat. We're gonna go on, we're gonna hunt till dark. So we cruise around, we see a few bears, we see a pretty nice bear in a location, and so we go around the corner, beach the boat, get downwind, come up to call him. When we get there, we never see the bear again. We don't know if he just wandered off in the woods or what. We did call for a while, but here came another monsoon rain, so it just drenched us one more time. So we cruise on, we see another bear pretty quick. So the bear's obviously up on their feet and out feeding, so that's a good sign. This was not a big bear, we didn't want to try calling him, so we go on around. We come around a corner to where you can look back up in a bay, and Jason sees this bear and he said, this is it. We need to see if we can go set up on that bear. Looking for a good place to set up, so actually we get pretty close to the little grassy flat where the bear was feeding when we first saw him, and we decided that was a good place to set up. There's a couple old logs there. I don't know how long they've been there, but they got shoots all growing out of them everywhere, so we can set up against that, and it makes some good camouflage cover for us. We start playing the caller, it's just no time almost until the bear comes back out of the woods. But he's not just charging the call. As we've said a couple of times on this, in the springtime, these bears are not yet on meat. They're coming down to eat this tidal grass to get their stomach growing. So it's kind of hard to call them in that situation because they're not on meat yet, but still the instinct in them will make them come to the call. Well, this bear comes out, looks at the call a little bit, starts grazing in the green grass. And then all of a sudden, he just kind of latched onto that call. But he didn't start going towards the call. He started kind of circling it. When he first gets onto that call, he starts popping his jaws and he's taking his front legs and he's doing this, that he's posturing, He's saying, I'm the king of this valley. What are you doing in here, But he just keeps coming, and the way he's going, you can see him look to the left. When he's looking to the left, he's looking at that collar and that decoy out there. You can't see it in the footage, but it's right off to the right-hand side of the screen, and he just keeps coming and keeps coming and keeps coming. I just let him come, but I finally decide that if he ever bolts, we haven't got a shot. We went back and found where he was standing when we shot him because he scraped the ground when he took off to run so fast. I stepped it off to where the rifle was, 29 steps. We walked over to the edge of the woods and climbed around there and looked a little bit, and he didn't run 25 or 30 yards into the woods, but it was a big old log and a hill there. He tried to climb and he couldn't quite make it over the top of it, so he was laying there dead, but he died in a bad spot.
A great big old bear, beautifully furred, and I'm just as happy as I can be about that. Once again, we're shooting Colorado Buck Series Montana rifle, shooting a 7mm Magnum, so it did the trick. He ran how far? 25 yards, something like that, and piled up in here. So it's about as good a place to hunt black bears as I've ever been in my life. So Jason, did a good job, buddy, as always, so I am really proud.
So we get back to camp, we tell our story, we listen to Jim and Jacob's story. They sure had an interesting encounter that day. Jacob put a little stalk on the bear on a real steep hillside right down on the water. Bear's coming towards him, he's going towards the bear. They're gonna meet around the corner. It didn't work out quite like Jacob would have liked it to work out, but I can tell you, it'll be a once-in-a-lifetime experience for him. Well, I'd sure love to go on hunting bears. I love to hunt bears, but it's over with for us. We got to get home. Jim and Jacob stayed and hunted for several more days, and Jacob did have success. He got out his rifle, killed a nice bear.
Bingo!
The only bad downside of the whole hunt was I didn't get a hunt with Terry for very long because we hit it hard the first day and was able to pull it off by evening and had a bear that wanted to play and he came in perfect. He really postured, it worked out great, and he made an exceptional shot, and that was the end of it.
If you want to go on not only a great bear hunt, but you want to hunt big bears in their prime, come to Prince of Wales Island, call Jason, hook up with him, come up here and hunt these bears. We saw 6 or 7 bears yesterday. Probably 4 of them, including this one, was in this category. It might not have been quite this big, but they were in the category of this bear you're looking at. So it's just an environment that raised, it's got the genetics, it's got the food, it's got the age, it's got all the things you need to grow a big animal. So it's a great place. I appreciate you helping us do this, man.
It was awesome. Thank you very much.
But that's about all the time we got for today. For all of us at MOJO, I'm Terry Denmon. God bless you. We'll see you again next week.
All hunts seen on MOJO TV are fair chase.